A China expert from the University of Michigan explains the biggest threat Beijing faces right now is actually themselves. She made the remarks at a U.S. hearing. NTD's Dawn Ma has more.
The U.S.-China Economic and Security Review Commission held the hearing last week. Here's what the expert said.
I think one of the biggest dangers now facing the Chinese regime is the problem of bureaucrats not daring to speak the truth. And this has been exacerbated with Xi's authoritarian turn. He does not appear to be open to dissent, to honest feedback. There was, for instance, recently news that the Chinese government says that negative news about the economy should not be reported anymore. When Chinese leaders create a climate when people don't dare to speak the truth, they in turn deny themselves of good information. Right? So it creates a vicious cycle.
She says Beijing will continue down its current path unless a major policy change happens.
That no change can happen unless the top leader says, yes, it's okay for you to speak the truth. And then the Chinese bureaucrats will speak, and then they will realize they in fact have many problems and limitations and missteps.
Though she says Beijing leaders still have one source of honest information, but it doesn't come from within China.
I would also like to point out that Chinese leaders today do have a very important source of feedback, and that is international opinion. So the Chinese leaders are able, through censorship and manipulating the media, to silence opposition within China, but they can't silence opposition and criticisms around the world.
The international community had hoped that China would change its authoritarian ways in the early 2000s. At the time, then U.S. President Bill Clinton persuaded the international community on the merits of China joining the World Trade Organization. And in 2001, China was allowed in. It was believed that alongside capitalist economic growth, China's middle class would become a driving force demanding political change from Beijing. There was a problem, though, as another expert at the hearing pointed out. Most of China's middle class made a living working for the state.
So there's no independent middle class in China. In China, when we talk about the middle class, it's like majority of people who work for the Chinese government or state-owned enterprises. So when we talk about middle class in China, we're not talking about, like mom and pop's, stores and stuff. The people who own mom and pop stores in China, they're in the lower class. They're not making.
Professor Ong says that if China is to change, it must first come from Chinese Communist Party head Xi Jinping. Dawn Ma, NTD News.